I have the call.
Sorry, was there a last vessel buy?
If the budget in the IAP going over the next 10 years is for $7 to $10 billion for the general purpose frigate project, the first is being delivered in 2029. That's obviously not envisaging all of the 11 frigates, is it?
No, I think that would be highly unlikely.
So how many is that budgeting for of the 11?
Well, we don't know until we get the detailed pricing from whoever is down selected.
Well, how can you put a budget range if you don't know the number of frigates?
Well, you do know the number of frigates, you do the total number of frigates,
in the period in the next 10 years.
But there's no set number to be delivered in that first period.
But we do know that even the upper end of that range is not for the 11 frigates. It's for less than 11 frigates, but you don't know how many.
Sorry, you have to repeat that question.
Even the upper end of that range, the $7 to $10 billion, is not for all 11 frigates, but you can't say how many frigates it's for.
So some of them will be, and part of the pricing discussion will be, for example, the drumbeat at which frigates will be built, whether it fits into a current production line, whether they have to increase it, whether they have to space it out. So we're at a very early stage in this competition to be able to know the exact drumbeat.
I just want, you've got a figure of $7 to $10 billion,
yes.
And I was asking how many frigates that's for, and you can't tell me.
That's correct. I can't tell you because we have not.
Less than 11.
Say that again.
It's less than 11, but that's all you can say.
It is very likely to be less than 11.
Okay. Secretary, Donald Trump has just declared victory in the United States election. That throws AUKUS into disarray, doesn't it? That clearly throws AUKUS into disarray. Perhaps one of the most unpredictable people who could be elected as president. The president, of course, having so much sway over the treaty.
Senator Shoebridge, the Australian government has made very clear that it is very much able and willing to engage with whoever the next president of the United States is and the next administration. We have very strong bipartisan support in the US Congress for AUKUS, and there are a number of members of the Republican Party establishment that we know are very strong supporters of the AUKUS initiatives.
Millions of Australians are deeply frightened by the unpredictability, the extreme statements in relation to international conflicts that Donald Trump has made, and yet your position from Defence is nothing will change, AUKUS will carry on without missing a beat. Have you not been listening to what he's saying?
Senator Shoebridge, I understand your interest in prosecuting this evening, but we've been incredibly clear
that we are tying ourselves to Donald Trump.
Look, Senator, I mean, it's disrespectful to talk over people, but also the Minister is attempting to answer a question. Minister.
Senator, all three AUKUS partners are committed to delivering on AUKUS, and that includes, of course, critically supporting Australia's acquisition of conventionally armed nuclear submarines. I understand that that is not a position that your political party supports, but the government has had extensive engagement across the political spectrum in the US, and we have been very pleased to note the broad bipartisan support for AUKUS. This evening, the Prime Minister put out a statement. He has issued his congratulations to Mr Trump, to President Trump on his victory, and made the point that we are old allies and we are true friends. Those are the words used by the Prime Minister. We expect, as the Secretary has said, to continue to work constructively with the United States, and we respect the decision taken by the people of the United States.
This is a man, Donald Trump is a man who has a close relationship with Vladimir Putin, which he boasts of, who says that he will, regardless of the wishes of the people of Ukraine, bring that conflict to an end, no doubt on Russia's terms, as rapidly as possible, who has made incredibly unpredictable statements about inviting Russia to attack NATO allies. And you say that it's business as usual under AUKUS. Do you really say that, Minister? No? Given what Donald Trump has said just in the last 12 months?
Senator, I really don't have anything to add to the comments I have already provided. We've been really clear that it's a long and deep relationship with the United States, and in particular in relation to AUKUS, we've really welcomed the bipartisan support that we've observed in the United States through our engagements.
Are you comfortable with Donald Trump being the Commander-in-Chief of United States military, which will have thousands of Marines posted in Darwin, nuclear-capable B-52 bombers at Tyndall, nuclear-powered submarines at HMAS Stirling, and secret listening and surveillance posts such as Pine Gap in Australia under the direction of Donald Trump? Are you saying that you and the Albanese government are comfortable with that situation?
It's not our choice.
Well, there's a number of elements of that question that we would characterise differently, not least of which the joint facilities operating in Pine Gap. However, I don't really have anything to add, Senator, to what I've already said. I mean, the Prime Minister has been clear, the Foreign Minister has been clear, I have been clear this evening. I understand that you have a different position, but we've been really clear about how we intend to approach this relationship and the significance of the relationship.
To be clear, Minister, my party, the Greens' position is it's incredibly reckless and dangerous to not at least revisit the AUKUS relationship now that a man so obviously erratic, unpredictable and dangerous has been elected to be the President of the United States. Don't you think you should at least revisit whether or not tying ourselves to the United States through the AUKUS deal is in our national interest now that Donald Trump has been elected?
Senator, we will always act in our national interest, and I think we've demonstrated that through the series of decisions we've taken since coming to government in relation to our national security.
So you won't be revisiting whether it's in the national interests of Australia to tie our military and our security so closely to a military where Donald Trump is the Commander-in-Chief? There will be no review in the national interest given this result.
Senator, I have answered your questions.
Right.
Any other areas, Senator Shoebridge?